Hey there, Janae with Palin Projects here, and in this video we are going to be making up some of my grandma's tomato juice. I had leftover tomatoes from this summer, so basically what I did was I went out before our first frost and mass picked all of the tomatoes I could in order to save the tomatoes and to be able to use them. I was overrun with tomatoes and therefore I washed them, put an X on their bottom and de-stemmed them basically, and then I quartered them depending, I either halved or quartered them depending on how big of the tomato they were, and I put them in the freezer because I didn't have time and I was getting a little burnt out on trying to come up with things to do with the tomatoes. I figured, one snowy, wintry day I could pull the tomatoes out, de-thaw them, and do something, which was today. So for my grandma's tomato juice, what you do is you take your tomatoes, you wash them thoroughly, de-stem them, and take off any of the dry bits. Sometimes there's some dry bits on the skin. Take that off. You'll see, I know there's a couple in here that have some dry bits on them. I'll just, because they are frozen, they were frozen and de-thawed, I can just pull those right off. So you'll see me do that, but take the dry spots off and then put into a pot and boil without any water. The tomatoes will produce enough moisture themselves. You don't want to put any water in the pot, just throw the tomatoes in and boil them. This works great with fresh tomatoes as it does the frozen or thawed tomatoes, so either way. You'll then strain the mixture that is boiled into a bowl. Use a fine strainer if you don't want as much pulp, or a wider strainer if you don't care. And put that into a bowl and then measure the juice that you have back into a pot and boil that with 1 teaspoon of salt per quart. I believe it's 32 ounces equals a quart, or 4 cups, I believe, in a liquid measuring cup equals a quart, or at least it does online. And so you want to measure your juice and then put a teaspoon per quart into your pot and bring that pot back to a boil. You can also, if you want to, you can put sugar in. I'll probably sprinkle a couple, just a couple spoonfuls of sugar, just to take that acidic taste away from it. But you don't have to put sugar in it if you don't want to. And then, yeah, bring that mixture to a boil. Once it's boiling, make sure your jars are cleaned, and then transfer that liquid into your clean jars. Put your lid, screw on the ring to your lid, and then water bath them for 10 minutes, and they should be sealed and ready to go. We like to use this tomato juice for cocktails, bases for soups. I use it for just about anything, chilies. It's a good way to use up a lot of tomatoes quickly. I would venture to say that I probably have between 3 to 5 quarts, maybe on the 5 side, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So out of the 3 bags of tomatoes that I've frozen, I'll get a decent amount of tomato juice today, which is exciting. So, but let's get after it. You can see I am just boiling basically the living daylights out of these tomatoes. Stirring them every so often. This one probably is done, so we could probably move on to the next step with this one. But this, the pot over here, which I don't think you can see on camera, the more full pot, or the pot that has more tomatoes in it, I'm gonna let it boil for a bit longer while I strain this one. It's been a couple days. I did sterilize the jars, the lids, and then I warmed up, obviously, I guess this is the ring. I sterilized the ring, and then I warmed up the lids like I did in my pickling video. And then I left about an inch of headspace in the jar, put my lid on, hand tightened the ring, just so it was not like scrunched down, but as tight as I felt was necessary. And then I water bathed them for 10 minutes. So all that means is I put them in boiling water for 10 minutes in my water bath canner. I did not pressurize them, pressure can them. And the other thing that I did differently was I put them in, I think these are pint jars. Yeah. Pint jars. I thought there was a crack for a second. There's not. We're good. Basically like 2 cups, I think. 1 cup, 2 cup, roughly, of tomato juice. So that's what's in here. Water bath them for 10 minutes if I didn't already say that. And they sealed perfectly. Unfortunately, in the process, I did lose 1 can. The glass shattered, or the bottom just fell out, is what it is. I had a feeling it was going to do that. The jar was pretty old. And I inspect all my jars. First and foremost, you should inspect all your jars before you can and just see if there's any like visible defects on your jar. I didn't see any defects, but it obviously had been used 1 too many times, and it made a clean cut around the bottom and just fell off basically when I went to take it out. But I got 7 pints, minus, I did a quart jar, and the quart jar is the one that broke. Yeah, so I have 7 pints of tomato juice. I did also label them with what's inside and then the date, so that if, next year or in the coming years, like I find one that was tucked away or something like that, I'll know how old it is. But I'm pretty excited to use this. I'll put the recipe down in the comments below. Delbers, oh my goodness. We are just so excited to talk about tomato juice. Enough. Oh, and there's the tater. Hi, tater. They're crazy. Gotta love them though. I'll put the recipe and the instructions in the description below. If you do make this recipe and you change it up a little bit, let me know how you changed it up. If you like it how it is, let me know as well. This is a recipe that my grandma has used, had used for many, many years. It's kind of a tried and true recipe, and it's a good way to use up your tomatoes. So, I don't remember if I said this before because it's been a couple days. I did get tired of canning in the summertime. It was hot. I was over it. Delbs, you're being noisy. I didn't have a lot of time. And I was really getting tired of canning. It's a lot of work to sanitize, prep everything, can it, seal it, make sure everything is good. I was so tired. And so, I just froze my tomatoes and canned them this winter. And it was great. It was easy to do. Fresh, frozen. You can do whatever you want with this recipe. It doesn't matter. So, I hope you learned something new, and I hope you enjoyed this project. Let me know if you try the recipe on your own in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next project. Thanks, everyone. Bye.